Hello everyone, welcome back. This is our episode on Taurus at the early degrees, 0, 1, or 2. And if you haven't watched the introductory video, go ahead and do that so you have a foundationary understanding of the early degrees and how they would apply to you. So we'll take a look now at Taurus and how some of those early degrees could impact any Taurus placements that are in your chart. Now, a stark contrast from our Aries, the Taurus is often considered the homebody, the nature-loving zodiac sign. They're known for doing what makes them happy, their personal life, personal pleasure. They're the bull. They're known for their stubbornness, and if you have an early degree placement here, you might see that a little accentuated because, remember, it's responding like a child in those early degrees. You still think of these early degree placements in a positive and a negative light because depending on how they're accented or your awareness of them, they can change like that for you. But Taurus is a fixed sign, and it's quite resistant to change in the first place. They're very stubborn. We mentioned that already, but it's so true. I thought I'd slip it in there again. They can desire to spend money to abandon. Perhaps they don't make enough, but they don't care. Cash flow is their thing. Taurus wants to spend. They want to be comfortable. They're nature focused, and they may not realize that money is more difficult to come by, but they're going to be the first ones that let's put the tent, the cabin, the RV, whatever. They want to be in nature. And that bull will rage when it's not happy. So we always look at Aries as the hothead of the zodiac, but I find that Taurus, especially at these early degrees, has its own raging personality sometimes. So don't be fooled that down-to-earth, gardening, hunting, nature-loving, passive Taurus will not explode, because they will. And depending on other placements, they might have some Aries in there just adding to the fun. But that's a small glimpse of the traits of Taurus. So now let's see how they're applied to the early degrees. So let's take the natal sun. Say you had the natal sun in an early placement in Taurus. It could make you have more reckless and risky behaviors. Perhaps you'd operate a vehicle intoxicated. You'd fail to call home when you're going to be late. When hunting is over at dark, you're going to stay in the woods. You're not done yet, so I'm going to stay here because I'm not done hunting yet. That rebellious, infant-like life force that they have no regard for others in the wing. It's about that Taurus energy. They will go where the road takes them, like a wandering child. If a friend says, hey, I thought you were hunting here, come with me, we're going to hunt thereafter, they're going to go. They have a misguided approach to the way they travel down life's path. And this, again, isn't necessarily a bad thing if you have some good placements or some common sense about it. Maybe you'll explore a new avenue. Maybe you'll be that friend that helps search for someone at 3 a.m. that, their missing pet or something is out there. It has its ups and downs with the way that you can look at it, but try to accentuate the positive in there and just use this as a learning tool for what can happen in the worst case scenarios on there. Maybe Taurus isn't considering its ATM doesn't have an unlimited source and it has to put money in the bank. They're not a bottomless pit. So they're out of balance. They need to find their stability. But on a positive note, if you're friends with the Taurus and they're the life of the party, they'll buy rounds for the house. They'll have a party till the wee hours. They'll give rides to their friends until their own gas gauge is on empty. But their lawn will be neatly coiffured likely, and they'll give you advice on hunting and plants and things of that nature. But again, most of these things are going to happen on a childlike level. So a relationship with a Taurus, you're going to have to find them first. They'll either be at home, in the woods, something like that. They're a homebody. They're an earth sign. They're not going to be center stage like the Aries. So if you pursue a relationship there, again, those early Venus and Taurus placements, it's a me attitude. It's I come first, but not as bold and loud as the Aries. Maybe just in a aloof, kind of whatever approach to a relationship. If there's a fight, they're going to act like a toddler again. Either go away and pout and brood and not speak to you, or that bull will come out and you'll see the horns. Early placements, let's say in Mercury, again, communication. Taurus is not the chatty, talk you up planet. They're likely going to be, sign, not planet. They're likely going to be annoyed by your conversation. They're not going to engage in the banter unless it's something that they're interested in. That childlike, again, think of it. Just keep remembering that infant childlike response to things in these early degrees related to the traits of the Taurus. So maybe the same scenario we mentioned on Aries with Neptune in the water. Is Taurus going to be on the water? Probably. Fishing in a boat quietly in the corner. Are they going to jump in and rescue the guy? I don't know. The Aries might get there first. The Taurus might say, well, I got a fish on the line. I see another guy over there. He might do it. That a little bit of a hedonistic opinion of those early degrees is in Taurus, where they're not putting others first, Uranus with the science, electric, the future of things. Taurus is more pulled back from that, and it could be something they're good at if they have planets that have a placement. They're not afraid of electricity. They have that childlike approach to the future, like, sure, bring it on, we'll try that, or sure, I'll be an electrician. I'm not afraid of things. But will they stick with that? It's hard to say. It's something that they might want to try, and then when something better comes along in the future, they're like a child. They'll dabble in that as well. And again, they're not extremely concerned about their financial future, so getting that gold ring at the end for their future or scientific inventions, not so much, unless it's something related to nature. Maybe they'll discover a new scope for a rifle or a new piece of clothing to keep you warm in the winter while you're hunting. Again, but it would be because it benefited the Taurus. It's something they could use, something they, not necessarily for the financial gain that they would reap, but for, hey, this will make my life better or easier. The moon, Taurus moon, again, aloof in the early degrees, aloof and vacant, not really chatty and out there, or the raging bull. It's hard to find that middle of the road early degree Taurus that wants to have a deep conversation emotionally and relate to you on an emotional level, let you know what they're thinking emotionally. It's just not going to happen. And Jupiter, another one that you could have in Taurus at the early degrees, that's expansion. So again, indulgence for the Taurus. Maybe they have 400 fishing lures instead of one because they like to fish. And they're their fishing lures. They're not yours. You shouldn't, confuse that. But they won't showy and braggy with them. They'll lend you one or give you one, but they've got a collection tucked away. They may only take one with them when they go fishing, but they've expanded in that Jupiter nature where they'll collect that thing or they'll obtain it and not necessarily need it. Larger around the waist. Maybe they have early degrees there and they struggle with weight loss because of either overindulgence of food or drink or just on the sofa too much, with that down-to-earth Taurus energy. So that covers some of the placements there. I think we have Mars left to go. So again, Taurus and Mars, you're adding the stubborn bull in the early degrees with that childlike behavior to that fiery energy. So you could have someone that's digging in their heels and they're angry at the same time. But to flip it onto the positive note, perhaps they're digging in their heels and they're angry and you're not going to stop the trajectory of what they're going to do. So as long as that event's a positive one, maybe it's, repairing something, or you're not going to stand in my way, nothing's going to stop me, I'll figure out a way to do this, or it's a creative endeavor, or like I said, planting in the garden after midnight, hunting beyond the laws. You're not going to stop me. I'm going to be doing what it is that I need to complete with that fiery, stubborn energy. So that's a quick look at the Taurus at the early degrees through some of the planets. Again, if you have any planets in Taurus or any other early degrees that you'd like to talk to me about, get a personal reading for, there'll be a link in the description. And check out the other videos for all of the other signs in their early degrees. Thanks for watching.